Welcome back to Ego and Empathy, the podcast where we explore the psychology behind human behavior and the subtle ways it shapes our lives. I'm your host, Mandy, and today we're diving into a subject that so many people silently wonder about: financial abuse. It's one of the most hidden forms of control, and yet one of the most powerful. Because money isn't just about finances, it's about freedom, safety, and autonomy. When someone takes control of that, they take control of you. At first, a narcissist doesn't seem like someone who would ever restrict or control your money. They might appear generous, successful, or even protective. They pay for dinner. They say things like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of everything." And in the beginning, it can feel flattering, even comforting, to have someone so confidently take the lead. But soon, the tone shifts. That generosity starts to come with strings attached. They might say, "Since I pay for everything, you should trust my decisions." Or, "You don't need to work, I want to provide for you." It sounds loving at first, until you realize that every financial decision now runs through them. Control disguised as care. That's the signature move of a narcissistic abuser. They use money not to support you, but to contain you, to make sure your choices depend on their approval, to slowly shrink your independence until you can't imagine life without them. And the tactics they use can be subtle. They might accidentally forget to add your name to the joint account. They might criticize your spending, or make you feel guilty for buying something small for yourself. They could sabotage your career, discourage you from working, or make sure your income always flows into an account they manage. Bit by bit, you stop feeling like an equal partner and start feeling like a dependent. What makes financial abuse especially devastating is how it intertwines with emotional manipulation. A narcissist doesn't just control your money, they control the story around it. They convince you that you're bad with money, that you're lucky to have them handle things, or that you wouldn't survive on your own. And because they alternate between affection and criticism, your nervous system stays caught in a loop of confusion and self-doubt. You start to believe their version of reality. You might even start apologizing for things you didn't do wrong. That's how deeply financial abuse can sink its hooks. It doesn't just restrict your bank account, it rewires your sense of worth. For many survivors, the realization comes slowly. Maybe you start noticing how anxious you feel when you spend money. Maybe you realize you have to ask for permission before making basic choices. Or maybe one day, you see your partner's generosity for what it truly is: a leash disguised as love. The moment that awareness hits, something powerful begins to shift. You start to see that control was never care, and protection was never partnership. It was possession. So, what does healing look like after financial abuse? First, it's about reclaiming trust, not in others, but in yourself. Because one of the biggest lies a narcissist teaches you is that you're incapable of surviving without them. The truth is, you always were capable. You were simply conditioned to forget it. Healing means learning to make financial decisions for you again, even small ones. Buying your own groceries, setting up your own account, taking control of your passwords can feel monumental. It's not just about money, it's about identity. Each step you take rebuilds the belief that your choices matter. And yes, there's often fear in that process, because when someone has held control over you for so long, freedom can feel terrifying at first. But it's in that fear that your autonomy starts to grow roots again. If you've experienced financial abuse, know this: you are not weak for staying. You were manipulated into believing you had no choice. And breaking free isn't just about leaving. It's about rebuilding your sense of power piece by piece. You don't have to do it all at once. Start with one decision that's yours alone. One act of financial independence. Because every time you choose for yourself, you're rewriting the story that was written for you. Financial abuse thrives in silence, so the most radical thing you can do is speak about it. Share your experience, seek support, and remember, money can be taken, but your inner authority can be rebuilt. You are not defined by what someone took from you. You are defined by what you reclaim. Thank you for listening to Ego and Empathy. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear these words. And as always, take gentle care of yourself, because healing isn't loud or dramatic. It's steady, quiet, and yours. Until next time, I'm Mandy, and this has been Ego and Empathy.